Houston Dynamo, Portland Timbers, Sporting Kansas, Los Angeles Galaxy,
Pitch Pass.
Toronto FC, Real Salt Lake, Chicago Fire, Columbus Crew FC, Dallas, New York Red Bulls.
Pitch Pass, your all-access credential to the people that matter in MLS. Here's your host, Greg Roach.
Hello and welcome to another Pitch Pass. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for spreading the word about the show. And if you didn't spread the word about the show, don't just nod along as if I'm paying you a compliment. I'm actually kind of planting a seed for you to spread the word about the show, however you have it. You can do it through Twitter or Facebook. We're available there and there. We're even available on Google+. Exactly. That's how committed we are to spreading the word about the show through social networking, and we can really use your help in doing it. If you downloaded through iTunes, thank you very much for subscribing. And now, rate the show. Whatever you feel like it deserves, just give us a rating. And if you could rank the show or write up a review of the show, that'd be even better. We're going to go all Ohio for today's edition of Pitch Pass. But first, let me remind you to go to pitchpass.com. Sebastian Salazar, a little bit angry, or has got a little bit of a beef with MLS because of last weekend's Goal of the Week competition. Adam Moffat not actually up for an award, and Sebastian states his case with video and the written word at pitchpass.com, so check that out. Like I said, it's an all-Ohio edition of Pitch Pass without anybody from Columbus Crew on. I know, interesting. Darlington Nagbe, the Cleveland native by way of Akron and now Portland Timber, will join us later in the show. But first, the reigning player of the week in MLS due to his 2 goals against DC United over the weekend, and Ohio native Chris Rolfe joins us. Chris, I've never talked to a player of the week winner, so I guess my first question is, do you get something? Is there some sort of prize that comes along with that honor?
Oh yeah, I got some dessert cakes from the staff today.
So the staff chipped in and got you something. You know, Mariano Rivera got himself a nice car when he won the All-Star Game MVP.
Yeah, I got a couple of pats on the back, some handshakes, which is enough.
And I think I'm going to go a different way because I'm sure a lot of people have asked you about your goals over the weekend versus DC United. But there's one thing that I kind of was curious about. Did you know Jeff Laurentowicz was that fast?
No, I didn't. I didn't know he had that in him.
He's got some top end speed that makes you go, you know what? I don't miss Dominic Odoro as much as I thought I did.
Yeah, what a great play by Jeff. You know, we're happy to have him here, and that was a great individual effort for sure.
Yeah, it's a hustle play for sure, but you also, I don't know what you're thinking as you're on the field, but I'm thinking to myself, there's no way he gets past Woolard, and then not only does he do that, he actually blows past him and then puts a little move on him. It was very nice. Has he been bragging about that at practice this week?
No, he hasn't said much. You can tell he's carrying his head a little bit higher. You know?
I have to thank you, Chris. You're the last thing that you tweeted out was a link for Tumblr, which I have never actually been to. So to look at the link, I thought I had to sign up for Tumblr because in the link it says football porn. So I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. It's got 2 of my favorite words in there, and the link goes to nothing. So now I feel like I signed up for Tumblr for nothing now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. It was a short clip of Justin Mapp against FC Dallas. He put a move on a guy and the guy fell over, and it was a great little clip. I'm disappointed that y'all can't access.
Yeah, what do you think? What happened to it?
I have no idea. I don't know much about technology. I just got it sent to me, and I put it up on Twitter, so maybe I messed it up. I
have to think that because Chris Rolfe sent it out, so many people went there, it crashed the Tumblr server.
Yeah, let's go with that story. That's a good story.
Now, was this current Justin Mapp or long flowing locks of yesteryear Justin Mapp?
This is current Justin Mapp.
Okay, all right, just check it. And I want to ask you guys, Chicago made a big signing today. I kind of want to ask you your thoughts on it. And I guess the first thing I would like to know from you, Chris, is how do you pronounce his last name?
To be honest, I haven't seen or heard his last name yet, so.
Okay, you do know that you signed a new young designated player, though, correct?
I did find that out, yeah.
Okay, so has he been in training yet? Was there any trial, or was it just he signed, he'll be here whenever, and away we go?
Yeah, the first I saw him was today, and he was doing some fitness work while we were training. So I think he's just getting himself ready for games.
And I've seen some things from Fire bloggers and writers who have kind of asked or at least hoped that he would be worked in slowly and not just thrown to the wolves. In my mind, I look at the Fire setup and I think to myself, he doesn't need to be thrown into the wolves because you guys are kind of firing on some good cylinders as it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. Thanks for that. I think that we're playing pretty well right now, especially going forward. Our attack has started to click, and we're scoring goals. I think over the last 8 games, we scored over an average over 2 goals a game. So that's an area that I think we're doing pretty well in. So he might not be called upon right away, but I'm sure when he does, he'll be able to help us.
You were in this situation last year as the person who was coming in as reinforcements, and I'd love to get your perspective, being where you were last year, coming and reintegrating yourself into this team, and this year as a guy who, we kind of just established you guys are rolling along pretty well, and then here comes a young designated player, and much like you, a big name signing that people are going to expect to walk in and start banging in goals. What are your thoughts as you are in the setup as they bring in somebody else?
I think it's just a part of the industry, and I think for whatever reason, the people in charge decided to bring in this forward who's supposedly a very good guy, should be a great addition to the team, and I think we brought in Mike, who was also a big addition, and he's done a great job for us. I think since he's gotten here, our offense has really started to move better, and as a team, we've gained confidence through that. So. You have to be careful when you start tweaking lineups and adding in players and removing players, because there is a dynamic and a team chemistry that's formed over time, and it's possible to disrupt that. I'm not saying that's going to be the case here, but I just that's something to keep in mind, that it's a very fragile dynamic.
Yeah, and forgive me for trying to read between the lines a little bit, but I'm the next question is a direct follow-up to that, and I'm going to try to ask you to stay away from the player line, of course. But do you guys think right now, do you need more offense?
We look around the locker room and we have a lot of very good attacking players. Guys that we believe in, and guys that can come off the bench and help us. And that's my point of view, and I don't know if others see it differently, but like I said earlier, it can always help to bring in a guy that's going to be good and make things competitive.
It's always from the outside looking in to say competition for places is not a bad thing, but what about on the inside of the locker room? Is competition for places a good thing?
Yeah, I would say it is. Again, there's a dynamic there that I spoke about earlier that's, this intangible that you can't really feel out until you make a decision, and then you kind of have to look back and kind of assess the changes that were made. But in terms of training and battling for spots, competition is huge for us with what we do, and it keeps everybody on their toes and can make players better.
What does this mean for you? And I asked that question with the thought in mind, again, just reading up on Fire blogs and guys who cover the Fire day in, day out. One of the things was, well, it'll be really easy. Chris Rolfe can drop back into the midfield. And I know that you're up for anything that you can do to help the team, but where would you prefer to play, and where do you prefer to play, and what do you think this signing means to where you will be deployed on the pitch?
I really don't have any idea what direction we're going to go with this. But, as cliche as it sounds, wherever I can help the team is where I want to play. As long as I'm a part of a good club and a good organization, I'm happy with just being, doing my role. So, of course, I do prefer to be a forward. I prefer to play up top. I think the last few games have hopefully shown that, where I'm beginning to feel more comfortable playing forward again. But I also think I can be helpful out wide, and that's also another very competitive area that we have with Joel Lindpair, Patrick Nyarko, Billy Duca, and we also have some younger guys that haven't seen much time this year that are very talented that are all fighting for those positions.
Are you impressed that you and I were able to get through this segment without mentioning his name once?
Who's that?
The new signing that we don't know how to pronounce his last name. We're very
Yeah,
impressive, Chris. We're very.
We're doing very well right now. This mystery signing.
I do want to ask you about a couple of the guys that are already on the team, and I specifically Dilly Duca, who was I don't want to say disappointing in Columbus, but was a little bit erratic and a little bit inconsistent in his play. And it feels like in the last few matches, and I don't know if it's the addition of Mike McGee or just being comfortable in the Fire setup finally, that he's really bringing some sort of a different dynamic to the attack, and something that a lot of other teams in the league don't have. What do you attribute the blossoming of Dilly Duca to?
Yeah, I think it just took a little bit of time for him to come into a new environment and kind of feel everybody out and feel the organization out. And, now he's playing with confidence. He's done a great job, battling again for a spot and dealing with the adversity that we had at the beginning of the season. And I think he's doing a great job for us now. I'm really, really glad that he's a part of our team.
You mentioned some of the young guys that we haven't seen. If we're just watching league matches, I'm always kind of looking out for the guys that are just getting a couple of minutes now and getting their feet wet, and then maybe in a year and a half, they'll start to make their mark in MLS. A couple of years ago, I was all about Suni Saad, and now you're starting to see him come into his own for Kansas City. So who are those guys that you're talking about on the Fire that we may not see or hear much of this year, but down the road, they could make a great impression on the league?
Yeah, we have three young midfielders that come to mind, and the first one is Corbin Bone, who's been in the league for a number of years now, but I still think he has a lot of value to add to the team. And then you have Victor Pineda, who's one of our homegrown players, who's a fantastic talent, been playing with the youth national teams, and a young kid that we drafted earlier this year, Yazid Atuba, is very, very talented, quick outside midfielder, and a guy that definitely could add, kind of like you were talking about with Dilly Duca, add that aggressive dynamic on the outside, able to beat guys and create things out of nothing.
I was looking at the Fire roster, and I noticed you guys only have 4 guys who are 30 or over the age of 30, and nobody over the age of 31. You're one of those guys. I feel like I have to bring that up, and you probably don't want to hear that, but you are one of those guys. It's a young team, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's great. That's one of the curses and the blessings. I mean, I think when we're going through hard times and we're dealing with struggles, I think because we are so young, we have a tendency to dwell on that, and sometimes we get stuck with our heads down. But at the same time, then it gives us older guys an opportunity to help them through that, to get them the experience and help them to become better and grow as players and people. And, when we get on these good runs, then, now it's our role to, keep everybody kind of even keel and keep our eyes focused on the goal at the end of the season.
30 to me is still in your prime, especially in this day and age with modern technology and things. Your prime isn't in your late 20s. I feel like you have a 25 to 34-year-old kind of prime. Do you still feel like one of the young guys on the team, even though you obviously are not? And how are you feeling health-wise these days?
Yeah, I feel great. This is one of the seasons where I've actually felt the best throughout my career, and I'm moving well. After a slow start to the season, I think my fitness is back, and I'm getting my quickness back and some explosiveness, and those are all traits that obviously help me on the field and make me the player that I am.
You would think that the addition of Mike McGee would have cut into your minutes just because you're similar framed, you're kind of similar players as far as body type is concerned, but it's turned out that you guys have gelled really, really easily and quickly. What do you attribute that to?
I think we both understand each other pretty well. The way that we play is very similar, and a lot of the times, we'll get a ball to our feet, we'll turn, and we already know where the other guy's going, which makes it seamless at times. And that's something we're still going to develop and get better at, but you'll see glimpses of it every game. So I think we're just, very similar players, and we understand where each other likes to get the ball and what our strengths are.
Yeah, and I like the fact that usually you like to pair a tall guy with a tricky kind of player as your forward tandem, but you guys, like you said, like I said, that you guys play similarly and you're making it work for you. And I like that you're kind of shattering that stereotype of you need a 6'3" guy to do hold up play as one of your forwards.
Yeah, and surprisingly, since Mike has come, I think we've started scoring goals on crosses. We scored a couple headers, and Mike put one in off his chest one time, and so I think we're boding well for the little guys in the league.
Totally. And as a DC United fan, I have to ask you, just to give us a little insight as to the vibe on that side of the pitch at Toyota Park. Did you get any like head hanging? I mean, you guys went at them quickly and put 2 up very, very quickly. What's the vibe of that team like as you saw it from the other side?
It's tough. With the changes that have been made, the players that are missing from the lineup from DC, and obviously travel is difficult. But when you're having a season like they are, and you let up two goals early on the road, it's really tough to come back. And I think that the players on DC, you guys really still continue to fight, continue to play into the end of the game. But I think it's just a situation now where you're missing some starters. You have some guys shuffling around the back, and it's just a tough situation on that day. How's
your Danish? Because I feel like that's a language that it's very hard to keep up on when you're not actually in Denmark.
Yeah, it's not good at all. It's terrible.
Was it ever any good?
No.
Did you ever get to the point where you could conduct an interview in Danish?
No, not even close. Not even close. I could say good morning and how you doing, and that's about it.
But, a lot of people, we always talk about if you were still over there, what was the biggest adjustment when you got there? But I would imagine you're over there for over 2 years. What was the biggest adjustment for you coming back to the States from being overseas?
There really, honestly, there wasn't. The transition back was smooth. Obviously, coming back to the same club, the same city that I've been at, some familiar faces were still around, and I guess the most difficult thing was just getting used to Frank's coaching style, because Frank was obviously not here when I left, and getting to know the guys on the team and their style.
Well, let me ask you about the travel, because that's the thing that a lot of people point to as the biggest adjustment, especially for people coming from Europe with the smaller, the more condensed cities and teams. Did you have to get readjusted to the long travel hauls for road trips in MLS?
Yeah, that didn't bother me at all since I played 5 years before in the league, so I was already prepared for that. And I love the travel in Denmark. Most nights I'm sleeping in my bed. We rarely stayed in the hotel, so that was awesome. I loved it, but coming back and adjusting to that was, for me, not an issue at all.
And what's the one thing, food, television show, that when you talk to your friends here now, you say to yourselves, "Hey, you better enjoy what you have, because over there you can't get this there"?
Actually, I would say it's your friends and family. Just to kind of, maybe that's a different answer to a different question, but friends and family are definitely the thing that I miss the most, and the things that I've cherished most since I've come back. And then other than that, it's just your local food. My pizza joints back in Kettering, Ohio, are the places that I miss the most. So.
You're pulling at the heartstrings, Chris. I like that. You did a nice little all moment. All the girls listening are like, "Oh my gosh, look at Chris." So before I let you go, you brought up Ohio. We're having an all Ohio edition of Pitch Pass this week, although no members of the crew, which is kind of weird. We got Nagbe coming on next. So you're kind of southern Ohio. He's northern Ohio. Any messages we want to send up to Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland, we don't even consider that Ohio, where I'm from. So
now, what do you consider it? Canada?
It might as well just kind of fall off into the lake and just kind of stay up there. But no, I love Darlington Nagbe. I think this guy's a great player. I've watched him since he was in college, and he's one guy that I really respect, and I'm glad he's having a great year because he's very talented.
I saw somebody on Twitter not too long ago kind of do an imaginary, what if the states did a kind of, they broke off and try to play each other. And one of the underrated states was Ohio. You could put together a strong starting 11 for an all United States versus states kind of tournament. You could put together a nice lineup.
Yeah, I'm sure we could. There's a lot of players coming out of there, and we're actually broken up in Ohio South and Ohio North for ODP, and I think we have some talent from there.
Yeah, it sounds like you don't want to play with Ohio North. That's the vibe I'm getting, Chris. Chris Rolfe, thank you very much. Congratulations again on your Player of the Week, and best of luck the rest of the season, my friend.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, now that was very, very interesting. Chris Rolfe of Chicago Fire with some strong words about Ohio North, which we will now address with Darlington Nagbe of the Portland Timbers by way of Akron, by way of Cleveland. Darlington, I have to tell you, we just had Chris Rolfe on, who is a Ohio native like yourself. Mm-hmm. And I asked him if he had any messages for guys in Northern Ohio, since he's from the south part of Ohio. And he said he doesn't even really consider Northern Ohio and Cleveland part of Ohio. Your response, Darlington.
That's fine, Northern Ohio and Cleveland do our own thing, and we all think Northern Ohio is the best part of Ohio, so that's fine that he said that.
That is, so there's no response? You're not going to send another shot right across the bow back to South Ohio?
No, it's all good. I love Ohio players, so it's all good.
I don't know what to congratulate you on first. You know what? Where I'll start? Happy belated birthday, Darlington.
Thank you.
How did you spend your day?
We were in Philly, so I spent it with some of the guys. We just walked around Philly and got some T-shirts made, and then had a little ice cream, and that was about it. So I had a game the next day. That's
my hometown, Darlington. So first, when I'm chuckling a little bit because you said you got some T-shirts made. That sounds like a 7-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah, Pamadou Ka, 19, is a real prankster, so he just took a picture of me and then had some T-shirts made, and he wore it around at pregame meal.
What is the T-shirt? Like, what'd you get made?
Just a picture of me smiling, and then he just put my name on there, and then they wore it around the pregame meal.
That sounds like a fantastic birthday. Ice cream cake. It sounds like you did a whole nice little a 7-year-old birthday party. It was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I assume you came home and celebrated with your wife because she was tweeting about celebrating with you. What did she have planned for you? A nice dinner, maybe?
Yeah, we just I got home and went from the airport, and then we just went and had dinner, just the both of us, and then that was about it. Just a little low key, nothing too crazy.
And then, which leads right to the second congratulations, which you guys announced about a month ago, and that is you are expecting your first child. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
How nervous are you?
A lot, just about being the child being healthy. That's my biggest concern. I don't really care whether it's a boy or a girl, but I'm excited about it.
When I was checking your Twitter feed, I saw that she had tweeted a picture of you where you were doing research. What sort of research are you doing as it pertains to the baby?
Just some books and stuff, strollers, cribs, and all that stuff, safety tips, just the normal things. You're taking this like this is totally legit serious. You've got months and months to prepare, right? Yeah, I know, but I just want to be ready for everything when it does happen. So nothing wrong with getting ready in advance. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. And now, how far along is she? Like, I should say, when is her due date? January 3rd. Oh, perfect. New Year's baby. Yep, exactly. Now, will you be sharing the sex of the baby with the family, or are you going to keep all that to yourself, or are you not even going to find out? Yeah, we're definitely going to find out and then share it with the family. We can't wait to find out. So it's exciting, It's a different step in our lives. Totally. May I suggest a way to reveal to your family? Yes. You find out, you get it put in an envelope, then you have a party, invite everybody over, and then you open it up and reveal the sex of the baby at the party, and then everybody hangs out and parties. Yeah, that sounds cool. My wife would think about something like that. Just something to keep in mind. You don't have to use it, but if you do, just make sure you credit your friend Greg Roach from Pitch Pass. Okay. All right, so I want to ask you about some stuff on the pitch. To me, it feels like this is the year that you have blossomed into the guy, not just on the Timbers, but in the league. I read a couple articles where you're commenting on the extra attention that you're receiving. What is it about Caleb Porter that has brought out this version of Darlington Nagbe? No, it's just me being comfortable with him. I was with him for 3.5 years at Akron, so I know what he likes and fits and he wants to play and what he wants from his players. So I'm just so comfortable with him, and he recruited me at Akron for a reason because he wanted me to play a certain style, and he just let me play the way that he knows I can play, that I can get the best out of me. Did
the fact that he did recruit you to Akron help once he came in to Portland, and not in the fact that you know him, but a lot of times in the professional ranks, the coach just inherits whoever is on the roster. But this is a guy who went after you in a collegiate sense, and so you knew that he wanted you for Akron and obviously now for Portland. How much did that help?
It helps a lot. I feel like whatever situation it is, whether it's in soccer or just in regular life, if you have someone that believes in you, so it always gives you extra bit of confidence and a boost to make you feel more comfortable and go out there and do what you know how to do. It's
weird that one of the knocks on you, and it was kind of hit on in your MLS 360 feature, was that you were too nice, which is kind of a weird thing to say. That, hey man, he's too nice. But I think that it came out in the he doesn't go and grab the game by the scruff of the neck, which it seems like you're doing more of. Did it take some sort of a conversation with Caleb, or was it just you thinking to how do you get over the too nice stigma is my question.
I don't know. I don't know if I've changed. I feel like I'm still a nice guy that I was last year, but I just feel I have some guys this year that help make the team a lot better. It's our third year as a team together, so the chemistry with all the guys is right, and the new guys that we brought in have helped the team also. So just me complimenting them and then complimenting me and the team also. So it's been good.
Do you feel like Caleb's? I know you're comfortable working with Caleb, but do you feel like Caleb's system is more conducive to your style of play?
Yeah, I think so. Caleb, he likes to be patient and feel impatient on the ball, which I feel like I am, and he likes to keep the ball also, which I feel like I do pretty well. So I feel like him being here in his system has helped me a lot in the team.
When you see, because your next match is actually going to be happening on Wednesday against Norwich City in a friendly, when you see these friendlies pop up, walk me through the stages that you go through. Are you excited to see it on the schedule? And then is a situation where Saturday after you're sitting in Philly after a tough match, thinking about a long cross-country flight, do you go, oh man, we got to play a match that doesn't really matter on Wednesday? And then does it turn into in the locker room like, oh wait, we're playing an EPL team. This is going to be exciting. Is that kind of the stages of how you look at this match?
Yeah, exactly. After a tough game, you're like, a friendly game on Wednesday. But then you look at it and you're like, it's an EPL team, and they played against some of the best players. And you try to compare yourself, and see what other best players did against them. So it's just a fun game. Get to play against a top league team and one of the best leagues. So I feel like it's fun for all the guys, and it's a good way to test ourselves.
Are you friends with Kai Kamara? And if you are, is this a situation where you ask him about a couple of players on the team?
I haven't asked him about a couple of players on the team. We've seen each other a couple of times and we've talked, but we're not best of friends or anything. But yeah, if we were friends, this is a situation I'll ask him about.
Is this a situation where you will, I don't want to say show off, but is this a situation where you do think to yourself, okay, well, you know what? Defensive responsibilities aren't as vital as they are in a league match or an Open Cup match. And so, I kind of want to let a little of my showmanship skills come out.
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, you don't want to lose the game, even though it's a friendly. And I know coach is real big on winning. So you also you're gonna feel free and not as tense as you would for a league game or an Open Cup game. But at the same time, you wanna win and perform well.
What were some of your favorite teams growing up?
Arsenal with Thierry Henry, Juventus when Zidane was on there, and David, and Barcelona.
When you play Red Bulls, do you go for the jersey swap?
I actually did my rookie year, and I got it, so that was pretty cool.
So you got it.
Playing against a guy that you've been watching, your whole life, and then getting this jersey, so that was fun. It was a good experience.
Now, do you have to call dibs like before the match and go, hey, listen, just so everybody knows, after the match, I'm going for Henry's jersey, so please, no one else go to him?
No, it wasn't like that. I think it was. I remember the play actually. I got fouled down, and he just picked me up, and I just kind of held my jersey. And I was like, after the game, he was just like, yeah, sure. And then
that's all you have to say, darling. That's all you have to say. So in the middle of the game, he helps you up, and you just go, hey, after the match, jerseys, don't forget.
Yeah, it was pretty much. He was real cool about it, and I think he got a red card also, so he came back out the tunnel and gave me his jersey.
That's nice. Cool. He's a man of his word. He came back out onto the pitch to give you the jersey that he promised you.
Yeah, he did.
I bring that up because My team growing up and still is Ajax. And so when I first saw your Rose City jerseys, I was just in heaven because it's a gorgeous looking jersey, and it looks a lot like Ajax when you play. You guys have 3 really top notch jerseys. Which one of the 3 is your favorite? The old school throwback, the traditional Timbers green, or the Rose City edition?
I like the Rose City edition. I feel like the red looks good on the team.
It does.
A lot of teams don't wear red, so I feel like it looks good on the guys too.
And the red stripe, I think, is what makes it pop, and that's why I think it reminds me of Ajax. You don't see that just stripe with the white sleeves very often.
Yeah, me too. When I first saw it, that's exactly what I thought about. I was like, wow, these look like the Ajax jerseys. I feel like all the guys like them, and the retro ones and the green ones, which we wear the most. They're all great jerseys.
Yeah.
I prefer the red.
You guys you specifically and the rest of the team, you've lucked out with the team that you're on because it's just 3 top-notch, fantastic jerseys. And I don't know if you've looked at old MLS pictures. It could have been a lot worse, and you could have ended up with crappy, say, Kansas City Wizards jerseys. No offense to the Wizards fans.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I can't remember which one, but it was like I had a bunch of rainbow colors and the straps were long. It was pretty bad back then, but I feel like a lot of jerseys now are good.
It's pretty eye-catching. That's be a nice way to say it, Darlington. They were eye-catching jerseys back then.
Yeah, they were.
So, I mean, look, before I let you go, I got to ask you the obligatory question, and that is, because every time I hear something about you, it's, well, he needs to do this for his American citizenship, he needs to do this, and it's always differing opinions. Where are you at in that process, and if you are, or even if you've started that process?
Yeah, I started the process. It's going to take another couple of years, another 2 or 3 years. Just because I got married to my wife about 6 months ago, so another 2 or 3 years before I can get my citizenship and then go from there.
And
I'm not too sure how long the process is with everything, though.
But I don't know if we're breaking news here, but do you have every intention to go through that process and see it to the end and then make yourself available?
Yeah, definitely. If I'm good enough at the time and the team wants me to play, definitely would.
Would you going overseas disrupt that at all, or is it because you're married to an American that process goes on no matter where you are living?
I'm not too sure about that either, but I haven't really thought about overseas too much right now. Just been focusing on the Timbers, so I'm not too sure about that.
How awesome is it going to be for your kid that they will not have to worry about this and not have to answer this question to anybody?
Yeah, about citizenship, yeah, definitely. So that'll be good. They'll be born in America and they'll be Americans and everyone will know that. So there won't be mystery questions about where they're from and all that. So that'll be good.
Well, congratulations on the upcoming birth. It's a very exciting time. Make sure you treasure it. And if I could give you one word of advice, Darlington, get as much sleep as you possibly can right now.
That's what everyone can tell me. I definitely take it in.
Pass.
This is your voice. This is my red, white, and blue. This is my anthem to you.
For more show information, go to pitchpass.com.